Welcome, traveler. Welcome to the most profound journey you will ever undertake. A journey that requires no physical movement, no tickets, no baggage. All that is required is your attention and a willingness to explore the infinite landscape that lies just behind your eyes. First, I invite you to close your eyes, just for a moment. Let the visual world dissolve. The light from your screen, the shapes and objects in your room, let them all soften and fade into the background. There is nothing out there you need to hold on to right now. Now, turn your attention away from the noise of the external world, the sounds of traffic, the hum of appliances, the distant conversations. Let them become a faint murmur, like the sound of ocean waves heard from far, far away. They are not your concern in this moment. Your only task is to journey inward toward the inner silence that is always waiting for you. As you settle into this quiet space, I want you to become aware of the one thing that has been with you your entire life, the constant companion behind every experience, every thought, every feeling. I want you to become aware of awareness itself. The consciousness that is hearing these words right now is the greatest mystery we will ever encounter. Science can map the brain, chart its neural pathways, and measure its electrical storms. But it cannot explain the simple, undeniable fact of your subjective experience. It cannot explain the feeling of what it is like to be you in this moment, listening to this voice. What is this knowing presence that reads these words? What is this silent witness to the endless stream of your life? This is the question we will gently explore together tonight. We are not journeying to distant stars or to the beginning of time. Our destination is far more intimate and in many ways far more mysterious. We are embarking on a voyage into the very heart of your own being. We are going to ask the most fundamental question of all. What is it that knows? What is this I that is aware? It is a question that has captivated philosophers, mystics, and scientists for millennia. Is your consciousness a product of the brain? A beautiful, intricate illusion woven by a complex network of neurons? Or is it something more fundamental? A primary force of the universe that the brain merely filters and focuses? Is the mind contained within the brain? Or is the brain contained within a vast, non-local mind? There are no definitive answers, and that is the beauty of this exploration. We are not here to solve the mystery, but to sit with it, to rest in the wonder of not knowing, to feel the profound peace that comes from acknowledging the ultimate enigma of your own existence. So, as we stand at the gates of this inner space, I invite you to let go of the need for answers. Release the desire to figure it out. Instead, allow yourself to simply experience, to feel, to be. Notice the sensations in your body, the gentle weight of your limbs, the subtle rise and fall of your chest with each breath, the temperature of the air on your skin. All of these sensations are appearing within your field of awareness. They are known by you, but they are not you. You are the space in which they are happening. Now, notice your thoughts. They drift through your mind like clouds across a vast, clear sky. A memory, a plan for tomorrow, a question about what you are hearing. Observe them without judgment, without getting caught in their stories. See how they arise, linger for a moment, and then dissolve back into the silence from which they came. You are the aware space in which these thoughts are appearing and disappearing. And now, notice your emotions. A sense of curiosity, perhaps. A feeling of relaxation, or maybe a subtle resistance. Whatever is there, simply allow it to be. Don't try to change it. Just acknowledge its presence. You are the conscious field that is aware of these emotional energies. In this simple noticing, you have already begun the journey. You have taken a step back from the content of your experience, the thoughts, the feelings, the sensations, and you have touched the context, the pure, undifferentiated awareness that is your true nature. This awareness is not something you need to create. It is not a skill you need to learn. It is what you already are. It is the blank canvas upon which the masterpiece of your life is painted. It is the silent screen upon which the movie of your reality is projected. It has no age, no gender, no location. It was there in your earliest childhood memory, and it is here now. It is the one constant in a life of perpetual change. Everything else has come and gone. Your body has changed. Your beliefs have evolved. Your relationships have shifted. But this knowing presence has remained, unchanging and ever present, as we prepare to delve deeper into the layers of this mystery, exploring the neuroscience of the brain, the quantum theories of mind, the nature of dreams, and the profound questions raised by near-death experiences. I want you to carry this felt sense of awareness with you. Let my voice be a gentle guide, a thread leading you deeper into the labyrinth of your own consciousness. There is nothing to fear here. You are not exploring a foreign land. You are returning to the source of your own being. You are remembering what you have always been. So, take a deep, slow breath in, and as you exhale, release any remaining tension. Surrender to the journey. Allow yourself to be curious, to be open, to be amazed by the incredible fact of your own awareness. The greatest adventure lies not in the outer reaches of space, but in the infinite depths of your own mind. The most alien intelligence we could ever hope to contact is the one reading these words, right here, right now. We are now passing through the gates. The external world has faded. The journey inward has begun. Breathe and listen. Be and explore. The mysteries of consciousness await. Let us begin our journey into the layers of mind at the most tangible level, with the magnificent, intricate physical structure that is your brain. Picture, if you will, a universe in miniature, contained within the protective cradle of your skull. A universe of approximately 86 billion stars, but these are not celestial bodies, they are neurons, the fundamental units of your nervous system, and connecting them, a web of such staggering complexity that it defies human comprehension, nearly 100 trillion delicate bridges called synapses. This is the physical stage upon which the drama of your consciousness plays out. Each neuron is a tiny biological miracle, capable of firing electrical signals, of communicating with its neighbors in a symphony of electrochemical activity that never ceases, even in your deepest sleep. When you hear the sound of my voice, it is not some mystical, ethereal process. It is a cascade of physical events. Sound waves become mechanical vibrations, which become electrical signals, traveling along your auditory nerve, being processed and interpreted by various regions of this neural universe. Let us take a gentle, meditative tour of some of the key regions of this inner cosmos. The prefrontal cortex, located just behind your forehead. This is the seat of your conscious planning, your decision-making, your personality. It is the you that you think of when you consider your identity. Then, deeper within, the thalamus acts as a grand central station, a relay for sensory information, a gateway to consciousness. And we cannot forget the remarkable cerebellum, with its intricate tree-like structure, coordinating the fluid, graceful movements of your body with a precision that surpasses any supercomputer. For centuries, and with accelerating pace in recent decades, neuroscience has been mapping these territories, drawing the connections between physical structure and mental function. We can now observe, in real time, the patterns of activity that correlate with specific thoughts, emotions, and sensations. When you feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, a specific constellation of neurons lights up. When you recall a cherished memory, a different but equally specific pattern emerges. The correlation is undeniable, precise, and beautiful in its complexity. This is the great triumph of material science. The understanding that the mind is intimately, inextricably linked to the physical brain. Damage a specific area through injury or illness, and a specific aspect of the self can be forever altered. Change the brain's chemistry with a molecule, and you can change the very nature of subjective experience. The mind, it seems, is what the brain does. But now we arrive at the precipice, at the boundary where our current scientific understanding meets a mystery so profound that it has been named the hard problem. The problem of qualia. You see, we can map every neural pathway. We can understand every electrochemical signal. We can correlate every brain state with a reported experience. But this only tells us about the objective, third-person processes. It does not and cannot explain the first-person, subjective experience itself. Why should the processing of visual information about a specific wavelength of light, an objective, physical process, give rise to the subjective, inner experience of the color red? Why does the complex neural processing of threat not merely result in a fight or flight response, but also in the raw visceral feeling of fear? This is the hard problem of consciousness, articulated so powerfully by philosopher David Chalmers. How and why do objective physical processes in the brain give rise to subjective qualitative experience? How does the water of neural activity become the wine of conscious awareness? We can describe the mechanisms of the brain, but we cannot explain the emergence of the inner world, the feeling of what it is like to be you. This is not a small gap in our knowledge. It is a chasm. It suggests that our current physicalist model of the universe may be incomplete, that there may be a fundamental aspect of reality, subjective experience itself, that we do not yet understand. So, as you feel the weight of your body, as you listen to the sound of this voice, I invite you to sit with this mystery, to feel the sheer, inexplicable wonder of your own subjective reality, the redness of red, the sweetness of sugar, the ache of sadness, the warmth of love. These are not just neural patterns. They are experiences. They are the very substance of your life. And their existence, their what it is likeness, is the greatest enigma of all. And from this precipice of the known, let us cast our gaze toward a different possibility, a what if, that has been pondered by thinkers from William James to modern consciousness researchers. What if the brain does not generate consciousness, but rather receives it? What if it functions not as a generator, but as a filter, a reducer, or a transducer? Consider the analogy of a radio. A radio does not generate the complex symphony of a Beethoven sonata from its internal components of wires and transistors. Instead, it receives invisible electromagnetic waves that are already present in the environment, and it translates them, filters them, and reduces their vast complexity into a form that we can perceive: sound waves. Without the radio, the signal still exists, but it remains unmanifest, unheard. Now, transpose this idea to the brain and consciousness. What if the brain is our personal biological radio, tuned to receive a fundamental field of consciousness that permeates the universe? Its complex structure, its 86 billion neurons and 100 trillion synapses, are not creating the signal of awareness, but are instead filtering a vast, perhaps infinite, consciousness down to a manageable individual stream, the stream of your personal experience. In this view, when the brain is damaged, it is not that consciousness is destroyed, but that the receiver is damaged. The signal is still there, but the apparatus can no longer tune into it clearly, just as a damaged radio produces static. When you take a psychoactive substance, you are not generating new experiences, but rather adjusting the dials of the receiver, allowing different frequencies of consciousness to come through. And in death, the receiver may cease to function, but the signal, pure, undifferentiated consciousness, may simply return to its source, no longer localized to a single finite point. Feel the implications of this for a moment. It would mean that your consciousness is not a lonely, isolated spark in a vast, unconscious void. It would mean that you are fundamentally connected to a larger whole, that your individual awareness is a localized expression of a universal field of mind. Your brain is the prism through which the white light of cosmic consciousness is split into the rainbow of your personal experience. This is not to discard the magnificent findings of neuroscience. The brain is still the instrument through which we experience the world, but it changes our relationship to it. We are not just the instrument, we are also the music being played. As you continue to relax, feeling the subtle sensations of your body and the quiet flow of your thoughts, consider this. The neurons in your brain are firing. The synapses are communicating. The physical processes are unfolding with breathtaking precision. But the you that is aware of all this, the silent witness to this internal symphony, remains a beautiful, profound mystery. Whether it is a product of the brain or a guest using the brain as its home, the experience of being here, now, is no less miraculous. Rest with this mystery. There is no need to solve it. Simply be in awe of the fact that you are here to experience it at all. Let the gentle crackle of your own neural activity be a lullaby, a reminder of the incredible, complex, and mysterious organism that you are, drifting gently towards sleep. Having explored the magnificent, tangible network of the brain, we now descend to a deeper, more fundamental layer of reality. We journey into the quantum realm, where the solid, predictable laws of classical physics give way to a world of probability, potential, and profound interconnectedness. Here, in the bizarre and beautiful domain of the infinitesimally small, we may find clues to the greatest mystery of all, the origin of consciousness itself. Our guides on this part of the journey are the renowned physicist Sir Roger Penrose and the anesthesiologist Sir Stuart Hameroff. Together, they proposed a theory as bold as it is elegant: orchestrated objective reduction, or ORC-OR. To understand this, we must first picture the interior of a brain cell, a neuron. Within it, far smaller than the cell itself, exists intricate scaffolding made of proteins, the microtubules. These are not merely structural supports. Penrose and Hameroff propose they are the quantum processes of the brain, the true seats of consciousness. Now, imagine the universe at its most fundamental level is constantly making choices. In the quantum world, a particle exists in a state of superposition. It is in multiple states or multiple places at once. This is not a theoretical abstraction, it is a measured fact. But this state of and cannot last forever. Eventually, the particle's multiple possible states must collapse into one definite reality. This collapse is the reduction in the theory's name. Penrose proposed that this collapse is not a random event, but a moment of objective, fundamental computation. a flash of proto-consciousness. Hameroff then suggested that the microtubules inside our neurons are perfectly designed to isolate, protect, and orchestrate these quantum collapses. Within their delicate structures, electrons can exist in superposition, dancing in multiple states simultaneously, performing a quantum computation. The moment this quantum coherence becomes gravitationally unstable, it collapses. It reduces to a single outcome. And according to this theory, each such orchestrated collapse is a fundamental unit of conscious experience. Think of it as a symphony. Each quantum collapse within a microtubule is a single, pure musical note. The biological structure of the brain orchestrates billions of these notes into a coherent, flowing stream, the symphony of your conscious awareness. In this view, your sense of self, your stream of thoughts, is not a classical computer processing bits, but a quantum symphony playing the music of mind. This is a radical departure from conventional neuroscience. It suggests that consciousness is not an emergent property of complex neural computation, but a fundamental feature of the universe, rooted in the very geometry of space-time, accessed and orchestrated by our biological hardware. This leads us directly to our philosophical question, one that echoes from the ancient philosophies of the East to the cutting edge of modern physics. Could consciousness be a fundamental building block of the universe? For centuries, our scientific worldview has been staunchly physicalist. Matter is primary. Consciousness is a latecomer, a lucky accident, a ghost in the machine that somehow appeared once the machinery of the brain became complex enough. But what if we have it backwards? What if consciousness is not the product, but the ground? What if it is not the movie appearing on the screen, but the screen itself? Consider the other fundamental forces: gravity, electromagnetism, the strong and weak nuclear forces. We do not ask what these forces are made of. We accept them as fundamental properties of our reality. What if consciousness belongs on that list? What if the capacity for experience is as basic to the cosmos as mass or charge? This is the philosophy of panpsychism. The view that mind, in some rudimentary form, is ubiquitous. In such a universe, a rock may not think, but it might possess an infinitesimal degree of interiority, a faint whisper of subjective being. A bacterium might have a microscopic point of view. A human being with a brain exquisitely evolved to amplify and orchestrate this fundamental consciousness has the rich, vivid, self-reflective experience that you are having right now. Your awareness then would not be something your brain creates from nothing. It would be something it focuses from the pervasive field of proto-consciousness. That is the universe's native state. You are not a generator of light in a dark void. You are a lens, concentrating the diffuse light that was already there into a bright, coherent beam. And from this breathtaking vista, let us venture into our what-if contemplations, allowing them to wash over you as you drift deeper into relaxation. What if your consciousness is not actually in your head, but is present everywhere, and your brain is merely a focusing device for it? Imagine your brain is not the source of the signal, but a receiver and a filter. Like a radio tuning into a specific frequency from the vast electromagnetic spectrum, your brain might be tuning into a specific channel of universal consciousness, giving you your individual, localized sense of self. Your memories, your personality, your sensory experiences. These would be the unique information patterns that your particular biological receiver is decoding from the cosmic broadcast. This would mean that you are both localized and universal. The you that you identify with is the focused, finite signal. But the awareness that is aware of that you is the infinite, silent space in which all signals appear. When you feel a deep sense of peace in meditation, it could be the feeling of the receiver widening its bandwidth, touching the silent, unmoved awareness that exists before and after any specific thought or sensation. And this leads to our second, intimately related question. What if deep meditation is a state where our consciousness synchronizes with the universe's fundamental quantum field? In the hustle of daily life, your receiver is tuned to a very specific narrow frequency, the channel of me. My problems, my desires, my past, my future. This signal is strong, clear, and very, very personal. But in deep meditation, as the mind grows quiet and the incessant chatter of thought begins to settle, something profound can happen. It is as if the dial on the receiver begins to turn ever so slightly, away from the noisy, crowded station of the individual self and toward the clear, silent carrier wave of pure being. In this state, the quantum symphony within your microtubules might not be orchestrating a personal narrative, but instead resonating directly with the fundamental vibrations of the cosmos. The boundary between the observer and the observed softens. You are no longer a separate self, looking at a universe. You become the universe, looking at itself. The sense of peace that arises is not merely psychological. It could be a physical, quantum-level resonance, a harmonization of the micro-consciousness within you with the macro-consciousness of all that is. So, as you lie here listening, feel the potential that lies within the very atoms of your being. You are not just a bag of chemicals governed by classical laws. You are a dynamic, vibrating quantum process. The silence you are cultivating is not an empty void, but a field of infinite potential, teeming with possibilities waiting to collapse into the reality of your next moment, your next thought, your next dream. Whether the orch or theory is ultimately proven correct is less important than the doorway it opens. It invites us to see ourselves not as passive biological machines, but as active participants in a conscious, participatory universe. Your awareness is not a fluke. It is a flower blooming from a seed that was planted at the dawn of time, woven into the fabric of reality itself. Rest in this profound interconnectedness. Let the shimmering quantum potential within you feel like a gentle, humming lullaby. You are not alone in your skull. You are the universe, focused to a point, experiencing the profound mystery of its own existence. And in that knowing, you can release everything and simply be. We now leave the sharp, defined shores of waking reality and prepare to sail into the mysterious, fluid waters of altered states. This is the realm of dreams, of deep sleep, and of the profound shifts in perception that reveal the incredible plasticity of your own mind. It is a journey into the ocean of your own unconscious, where the rules of logic are suspended and a deeper, more symbolic truth holds sway. Let us begin with the state you are gently approaching now, sleep. Each night, you embark on a silent, inner voyage through a meticulously orchestrated cycle. This journey has two main C's: NREM sleep, the deep, slow wave sleep of physical restoration, where memories are consolidated like treasures being locked away in a vault, and REM sleep, the stage of rapid eye movement, where the sails of your mind catch the wild winds of dreams. In the theater of REM sleep, your brain is not at rest. It is alight with activity, often as vibrant as when you are awake. But the sensory gates are closed. The external world is shut out. Turning inward, the brain weaves narratives from the raw material of your memories, your fears, your hopes, and your unprocessed emotions. This is not random noise. Science suggests this process is crucial for emotional regulation. stripping the sharp, painful edges from the day's events, and for creative problem-solving, allowing novel connections to form in the freedom of unfettered imagination. But what is the nature of this dream world? Is it merely a psychological scrapbook, an internal cinema for a solitary viewer? Or could it be something more? This question leads us to another profound alteration of consciousness, the state induced by psychedelic substances. Modern neuroscience, using tools like fMRI, has made a startling discovery. When a person ingests a substance like psilocybin or LSD, one of the brain's most dominant networks, the default mode network, DMN, quiets down significantly. The DMN is the neurological correlate of your ego, your autobiographical self, the constant inner narrator that worries about the past and plans for the future. It is the me that you believe yourself to be. When this network's activity decreases, the rigid boundaries of the self begin to soften. Other regions of the brain that don't normally communicate start talking to one another in a glorious, cross-connected symphony. The result is a dissolution of the ego, a feeling of oneness with the universe, a loss of the perceived separation between the self and the other. It is as if the walls of your individual house come down, and you realize you were never in a separate building at all, but always in one vast, interconnected mansion. This brings us to our central philosophical question, one that has haunted humanity since we first began to dream. Do dreams and altered states open gateways to deeper layers of reality? Our standard, waking consciousness is a brilliant but narrow filter. It is evolved for survival, to spot threats, find food, and navigate social hierarchies. It presents us with a consensus reality, a world of solid objects and separate beings. But what if this is just one channel on the cosmic radio? What if dreams, deep meditation, and even psychedelic states are not hallucinations or meaningless static, but are instead perceptions of other, equally real frequencies? What if they are glimpses into the deeper, more fluid and interconnected fabric of existence that our everyday mind must ignore to function? From this precipice of wonder, let us drift into our what if contemplations, allowing them to expand your sense of possibility as you float towards sleep. What if? Dreams are not just the theater of our own mind, but an experience of a collective field of consciousness. Imagine that your individual consciousness, that focused beam of awareness we spoke of earlier, is like a probe dipped into a vast shared ocean. The collective unconscious, as Carl Jung called it. When you dream, your probe descends beneath the surface of your personal concerns and into these deeper, archetypal waters. Here, the symbols and stories that arise are not solely yours. They are the ancient, shared myths of humanity, the hero, the shadow, the great mother, the wise old man. These are not just characters in your private play, they are living forces in a psychic ecosystem we all share. In this view, when you dream of flying, you are not just processing a personal feeling of freedom, you are touching the universal human archetype of transcendence. When you dream of being chased, you are connecting with the primordial fear of the unknown that every one of our ancestors has felt. Your dream becomes a personal encounter with impersonal, eternal patterns of the human soul. You are not just dreaming your own life, you are participating in the dream of the world. And this leads us to our second, deeply soothing contemplation. What if deep sleep is the state when our consciousness dissolves back into the unified source to be replenished? Consider your daily waking consciousness as a wave upon the ocean. It has a distinct shape, a unique identity, a beginning and an end. It rises from the ocean, exists for a glorious moment, and then it subsides. Deep, dreamless sleep, the NREM state, is the wave returning to the ocean. It is not annihilation, it is a homecoming. In this state, the individual self, the I, completely vanishes. There is no time, no space, no narrative. There is only pure, undifferentiated being. If your waking consciousness is the focused beam of a flashlight, and dreaming consciousness is a kaleidoscopic light show, then deep sleep is the pure, potent battery from which all the light emanates. This is not a void, but a plenum, a state of fullness. It is the ground of your being. Each night, you are not switching off. You are reconnecting to the source. You are allowing the individual droplet of your awareness to merge back into the vast sea of consciousness from which it arose, to be cleansed, restored, and replenished. The profound sense of refreshment you feel after a good night's sleep is not merely physiological, it is the feeling of your soul having bathed in its native element. You are literally returning to the unified field of mind, drinking from the wellspring of existence itself. So, as you feel yourself drifting now at the threshold of sleep, do not fear the loss of self. Welcome it as a return to your true home. The thoughts are slowing. The sensations of the body are becoming distant. You are beginning the gentle descent into the dream sea, and beyond it, to the silent, sourceless source. You are not losing yourself. You are finding everything. Let the lapping waters of the dream sea carry you. There is nothing you need to hold on to. Your memories are being sorted. Your emotions are being healed. Your spirit is being renewed. Whether you journey through the symbolic landscapes of shared archetypes or sink into the blissful silence of the unified source, you are safe. You are exactly where you need to be. Surrender to the current. Allow the waters of altered consciousness to hold you. The journey into the night is the journey into the deepest truth of who you are. A temporary, beautiful expression of an eternal, dreaming ocean. We now approach the most profound and mysterious shore of our journey through consciousness. The moment where life itself seems to culminate, and then, inexplicably, continues beyond what we thought was its final boundary. We are entering the realm of the near-death experience, a phenomenon that has been reported across cultures, religions, and centuries, challenging our deepest assumptions about life, death, and the nature of the self. Let us first listen to the common elements of this journey, as recounted by thousands who have stood at this threshold. The narrative is often strikingly similar, a sensation of profound peace beyond any earthly comparison, washing over them. A feeling of detachment, of floating upward, and looking down upon one's own physical body with a calm, non-judgmental clarity. The out-of-body experience. Then, a rapid, loving, and panoramic review of one's life, not as a judgment, but as a lesson in empathy and connection. Often, there is a journey through a tunnel or a dark space toward an incredibly brilliant, loving, and intelligent light. A light that emanates pure, unconditional love and knowledge. Sometimes there are meetings with departed loved ones or spiritual beings, and then a reluctant return to the body, often accompanied by a lasting transformation of values and a loss of the fear of death. This is the reported territory of the NDE. Science, in its noble quest for physical explanations, has proposed several theories. Could it be cerebral anoxia, the brain's final, hallucinatory fireworks as it is starved of oxygen? Could it be the release of endogenous psychedelics like DMT, the spirit molecule, flooding the brain in its final moments? Could it be the brain's temporal lobe, the seat of our sense of self and location, firing erratically? These are plausible physical mechanisms, yet they face profound challenges. How do we account for the veridical out-of-body experiences, where individuals accurately report events and conversations that occurred in other rooms or even outside the hospital, while their body was clinically dead, with no brain activity to process sensory information? How do we explain the consistent, life-transforming power of these experiences, far beyond that of a mere hallucination? And why does this specific, complex narrative of peace, light, and life review emerge, rather than random, chaotic imagery? This brings us to the immense philosophical question that NDEs force up. When the brain dies, consciousness ceases, like a flame being extinguished. The NDE, in this view, is the final, flickering dream of a dying organ. But the NDE narrative presents a radical counter-hypothesis, that the brain does not produce consciousness, but rather mediates it. That consciousness is fundamental, and the brain acts as a filter, a reducing valve, or a receiver. In the moment of death, as brain function ceases or is severely compromised, this filter is lifted. The receiver is no longer tuned solely to the narrow bandwidth of physical reality. Instead, consciousness, no longer constrained by the brain, expands into its native, non-local state. It perceives realities and dimensions that were always there, but which the busy, survival-oriented brain had to ignore. The out-of-body experience, then, is not a hallucination, but a literal shift in the seat of perception from the body to the conscious self. The life review is not a memory, but a direct experience of the interconnectedness of all actions, felt from the perspective of the whole. The light is the direct encounter with the source of consciousness itself. From this frontier of human understanding, let us gently explore our what-if contemplations, not as statements of fact, but as invitations to a profound and comforting possibility. What if death is not the end, but merely a transition of consciousness to another state, much like water turning into vapor? Consider the nature of water. As ice, it is solid, defined, and limited. Apply energy, and it becomes liquid fluid, adaptable, and freer. Apply more energy, and it becomes vapor, invisible, expansive, rising to become part of the atmosphere itself. The essence, hyo, remains constant throughout, merely changing its state and its properties. What if your consciousness is like that? Your waking life is the solid state, the ice, localized, defined by your body and personality. The dream state is the liquid, more fluid, less bound by physical laws. And death is the transition to the vapor state, a release from all form, a return to a boundless, expansive, and invisible state of pure awareness. You do not cease to be. You cease to be in that particular form. The energy and information that is you is not destroyed, it is transformed, returning to the formless source from which it arose, retaining the essence of your experiences, your love, your consciousness, but freed from the limitations of a single, physical point of view. And this leads us to the most beautiful and profound contemplation of all. What if the light, reported in near-death experiences, is none other than pure consciousness itself, into which we return? Throughout our journey, we have been exploring consciousness as a fundamental field, a ground of being. We have considered it as a cosmic radio signal, as a quantum symphony, as a collective dream sea. What if the ultimate destination, the brilliant, loving, all-knowing light, is the direct experience of that field? This would not be a light you see with eyes, for in that state you have no physical eyes. It is a light you know with your entire being. It is a light that is also love, that is also intelligence, that is also home. It is the white light of undifferentiated consciousness from which the rainbow of individual souls is projected. To encounter it is to remember what you have always been, to recognize your source. In this view, the life review is not being judged by an external God, but by your own higher self, your consciousness reconnected to the whole, understanding the ripple effects of every thought and action within the interconnected web of existence. The feeling of peace is the relief of shedding the burdens of the individual self and returning to the ocean of unconditional love that is your true nature. So, as you lie here in the quiet darkness, feeling the steady rhythm of your own heart, consider this: the very fact that you can contemplate your own existence and its potential end is a miracle. The consciousness that fears death is the same consciousness that might just transcend it. Let this knowledge settle, not as a fearful unknown, but as a deep, resonating comfort. The same awareness that is listening to these words, that feels the warmth of your bed, that remembers your childhood. This aware, loving, intelligent presence may be indestructible. It may be the one true fundamental thing in a universe of constant change. Whether the NDE is a glimpse of an afterlife, a neurological event, or a transcendental mystery, it universally reports one thing: there is nothing to fear. The journey ends in peace, in light, in love, in homecoming. Therefore, you can release the tension you may hold about the future, about the ultimate fate of this temporary, beautiful you. You can rest in the profound trust that the consciousness that animates you is eternal, not in the sense of lasting forever in time, but in the sense of being outside of time altogether. It is the timeless, formless witness to the dance of form. As you drift now, let the heartbeat you hear be the drum of your own precious, temporary life, and let the silence between the beats be the vast, loving, eternal consciousness that holds it. You are both the drumbeat and the silence. You are the wave and the ocean. There is no death of the soul. There is only a transformation, a shedding of a worn-out garment, a return to the source light from which we all emanate. Rest in this light. It is your original face. It is your home. And it is what you have always been. And so, we have reached the end of our journey together. We have traveled through the intricate neural pathways of the brain, dived into the shimmering possibilities of the quantum mind, sailed the mysterious waters of the dream sea, and even gazed into the profound light that lies beyond the body's final horizon. We have stood before the great mysteries, asking the questions that have haunted humanity since we first became aware of our own awareness. Is consciousness a magnificent biological accident, an emergent property of 86 billion neurons chattering in the dark? Or is it the fundamental ground of all being, the one great reality that gives rise to everything else, including the brain itself? Is the brain the generator of the light, or merely the lamp through which the eternal light shines? We have explored the hard problem, the unbridgeable gap between objective brain processes and the subjective experience of the color red, the taste of honey, the ache of love. We have considered the quantum theory, where consciousness might arise from the very fabric of space-time, orchestrated in the microscopic temples of our cells. We have wandered through dreams, wondering if they are private theaters or shared, archetypal realms. And we have stood at the threshold of death, listening to the stories of those who have returned, speaking of a light that feels like home. Each theory, each perspective, is a different map of the same uncharted territory. Each is a beautiful, imperfect attempt to understand the greatest miracle of all. The fact that you are here, right now, aware, listening, feeling, being. But now, as we prepare to cross the final threshold of this waking state into the embrace of sleep, I invite you to lay down all the maps, release the theories, let go of the need to know, to understand, to solve the mystery. Because the mystery is not meant to be solved. It is meant to be lived. it is meant to be felt. The most profound truth is not in any theory, but in your own direct, immediate experience. The consciousness that has been listening to these words for the past hours, that is the only reality you can ever truly know. Everything else is a story. But this aware presence, this is what you are. So, let us return to that. Let us return to the source of your own being, which is the source of all experience. Bring your gentle, tired awareness away from the concepts, away from the words, and back into the simple, undeniable reality of this moment. Feel the weight of your body sinking into the surface beneath you. Notice the subtle, constant dance of sensations, the touch of fabric, the temperature of the air, the gentle pulse of life within you. You do not need to do anything with these sensations. Simply allow them to be, and allow yourself to be the space in which they are happening. Now, bring your attention to your breath. Not to control it, but to witness it. The natural, effortless flow of air into your lungs and the soft release as it leaves. Each inhalation, a gentle receiving of life. Each exhalation, a complete letting go. Your breath is the bridge between the inner and the outer, the voluntary and the involuntary. It is the anchor of your being in this present moment. And now, as you feel the body and breathe with the breath, I invite you to let your awareness itself expand. Let this pure, undivided attention, which has been focused on these words, begin to soften and spread. Let it fill the entire space of your body. Let it become one with the sensations. Let it become one with the rhythm of the breath. There is no longer a separate you observing the body and the breath. There is only a single, unified field of sensation, rhythm, and awareness. The observer and the observed are merging. The wave is returning to the ocean. This is the beginning of sleep. This softening, this dissolving, this return to the source. You are not losing consciousness. You are returning it to its natural, unbounded state. You are releasing the tightly focused beam of waking attention and allowing it to become the diffuse, peaceful, and creative light of the dreaming and deep sleep mind. You are safe to let go. You are safe to surrender. The same intelligence that beats your heart and digests your food is now ready to guide you into the healing depths of sleep. You do not need to stay in control. You can entrust yourself completely to the wisdom of your own body, your own mind, your own consciousness. As you feel yourself drifting, remember the light from our previous chapter. That brilliant, loving, intelligent light. Know that the same light is the source of your own awareness. You are not journeying into darkness. You are journeying into light. You are returning to the source light of your own consciousness. Let every exhalation be a release of the day, a release of every thought, every worry, every identity. You are not any of those things. You are the silent, aware space in which they all come and go. And so, as the final words are spoken, let them be the gentle push that sends your little boat adrift on the infinite ocean of being. You have traveled far tonight, cosmic traveler. You have explored the inner cosmos. Now it is time to rest, time to return. Time to remember what you have always been. Let go of the journey. Let go of the traveler. There is only the ocean. There is only the light. There is only peace. Sleep now. Return to your source. The mystery loves you and it holds you safe. Good night.